Wrestling fans, it's Tuesday. You know what that means, but I'm in Tony's chair and he's not Tony.
No, I'm John Cena Sr., and I'm not a ghost.
Wrestling fans, a brand new Wrestling Insiders is coming up. Stand by.
Are you part of a non-profit organization, a youth group looking to raise cash for your cause? Stay tuned at the end of this video to learn how you can bring the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation to your town live, featuring the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Cheer! Why, hello! I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. If you joined us last night on our MWF Ultra Wrestling program, the ghost has risen from the ashes like the phoenix from Greek mythology, John Cena Sr., and now he's here on Wrestling Insiders to talk about the king of sports a little this afternoon, a much more, hopefully, relaxed atmosphere than we had last night.
It's got to be relaxed. It's got to be friendly. Got to be friendly.
When we talk wrestling, we usually get along better than we know. When we talk MWF is when the temperature rises.
Well, we should get along all the time.
Well, we'll have to talk to David Reese about that.
You'd lay on the couch. You tell him what's wrong.
For the fans that are wondering, our goal has been to bring you the weekly Wrestling Insiders talk show with Tony Atlas every Tuesday through the end of 2019. As many of you know, Tony's facing great difficulties right now. His wife had a stroke back in June. She remains hospitalized. And he's, to be honest, he'd be the first one to say it, he's struggling financially a great deal. Part of the reason we do this talk show is to try and line the wallet a little bit, but, you know, a big thing we have to be realistic about is the level of fan support that we get for it. So unfortunately, we were unable to bring you a new episode with Tony this week, but in order to keep the series going, Johnny was happy to step in. So Johnny, we're happy to have you here. We've had some great episodes that have got a lot of buzz in the past. I remember the Jinder Mahal episode we had got a lot of buzz. The Matt Hardy episode got a lot of buzz. So you never know what's going to come from the mind of a man that has been a part of the industry. You know, people look at what you've done in the independents this century, but even back in the 1970s, you were involved in helping promote some spot shows with WWF.
Right.
It's a great lineage you have.
Yep, I did that stuff with Randy Orton and Edge. We had some fun. It was a fun time.
All right, Tony. How many times am I going to call you
Tony and Johnny sound alike, so don't worry about it.
When Demolition were here over the summer, I confused the two of them ad nauseum to the point it turned into a joke. But anyway, I'll try and keep you two look so much alike. I don't know how I don't confuse you more. But
me and Tony Atlas?
Tony, yeah. Johnny Cash and Shrek. Anyways, a lot of controversy right now in the world of professional wrestling. A lot of fans are in an uproar that WWE is going back to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the Crown Jewel extravaganza this week, which will be Halloween afternoon at 1 p.m. here in the United States. It'll be Friday over in Saudi Arabia. Johnny, as we talked a lot about last night on MWF Ultra, sometimes business is business, but where the feedback to these live events have been so negative, do you think WWE is doing the right thing?
I think I said it earlier. Business is business. I always say this. I don't concur or agree with what they're doing. That's my opinion. We can agree to disagree and still be friends, and I hope we are, WWE. But it's good for business what they're doing. You got to remember that. He's paying salaries. He's giving people work. Again, do I agree with what they're doing? That's my own opinion. All right?
Well, what is your opinion? It's
I
a
don't
good
believe.
thing.
If it were I don't think I'd be going over.
If you were an active talent on the roster right now in WWE,
I would refuse to
you'd
go.
bow out.
I would bow out. My
Even-
son bowed out. Daniel Bryan bowed out. I got to respect their decision. My own input is this: I think as an individual who can take facts and digest them, I think until things are resolved, it's best to stay away.
Do you own any WWE stock?
I do not.
I do.
I wish I did.
So I look at it from a business point of view even more than you do.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute.
Or you do.
What happened? No, I don't. But were we just talking about business?
Exactly.
Oh, previously?
Yeah.
And what a scumbag I was? Oh, that's all right, though. Enjoy your stock.
We're talking about very different levels of
No,
involvement.
we're talking about business. People hate what's happening, and you're telling them I endorse it.
I'm not saying I endorse it, but when you have that amount of money on the plate, you're looking at 2 events each year that gross for the company that are far more profitable than WrestleMania. How do you turn your back on that?
Business is business.
Now, if you were running WWE, let's pretend you're not a talent. You said you'd turn the opportunity down. If you were
I
Vince
never
Mc-
turn the opportunity down to be talent.
Well, no, you just
to
said,
go over there. Yes, absolutely.
You said you wouldn't go to the Saudi Arabia
No,
shows
I would not.
if you
I
were
would
given
not.
the option. Let's say now you're an executive in WWE in these very profitable live events. A 10-year agreement are presented to you as a businessman, not a wrestling talent. Would you turn down that business proposal for a publicly traded company?
All I have to say is this. I have a conscience, and I, again, can separate facts and understand what's happening. I would say that I would definitely turn it down.
You would have turned it down.
I would have turned it down because of the way I feel and the way I think. Now, that's getting in the way of business. You see what I just did? Mm-hmm. I completely did a 90-degree. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I probably wouldn't have been a good executive because I let my personal feelings enter into a business decision. And again, we're not going to get angry or upset, but what I've just done has affected you and every other stockholder in the company. So the decision should have been put my personal feelings aside, what's best for business and what's best for my employees or subcontractors is yes, we're going.
Why would you have turned the opportunity down?
I don't like what's being done or how it's being done over there. I think that there are several issues that still need to be resolved. I think they have a long way to come as far as culture goes, the way people are treated. I personally still don't believe we resolved that issue that started all of this. So I just feel personally, and again, it's not that I don't, you know how much I think of WWE, I think the world of them, but as personally, if I were a talent and asked to go, I would not go. I would forego the payday.
Big paydays.
Well, but
big paydays.
But you understand one thing? There reaches a point where money doesn't mean anything. And this is a point where I have a personal opinion. And thank God Vince gave me a choice. He said, you can go or not go. It's $3 million on the table for you or not go. I choose not to go. That's how strongly I believe in my convictions.
If they allowed women wrestling over there, would that change your mind at all? I know you're big on the women's wrestling, and that's another thing we disagree about.
But they have no respect for women. So the idea...
But I mean, is it disrespect or is it their religion? I don't know enough about the culture.
Well, here, let me just say this. And again, you touch on a lot of subjects that I really enjoy speaking about and dealing with. You know, religion has always used theology or their belief to practice what they want, to get you to do what they want you to do. Does that mean I don't believe in God or Jesus? I certainly do, very strongly. But the fact of the matter is, if we continue with this belief, we continue to restrain the freedom of individuals who have earned that freedom. You know, equality is very important to me.
Sure.
I never look down on anyone, race, color, creed, religion. You're a human being. You know, the Merchant of Venice said it very well. If I cut my wrist, what color do I bleed? The same color as you, red. So I think until they bring themselves up to where society should be, they're billionaires. billionaires over there. Our oil. There are a lot of issues that I take exception to. I would say that I'd have to stand in my conviction until I could see earnest changes, not changes merely to say, we did it, so what do you think? No. And I don't think by allowing women to wrestle over there, that's not going to make anything better. That's just saying, okay, we did what you wanted. Now, how do you feel about that? Sorry.
Well, I did research part of what the government over there is trying to do with some of the mainstream entertainment, outreach to families and such. So it's kind of an interesting time over there if you were a citizen and lived over there. But as far as if I was a wrestler, would I want to go over there? Really, it would depend on the dollars. I don't think they could be any safer going over as a group with WWE being brought in by the government. As far as my safety goes, that wouldn't be a concern to me at all.
I remember when my son went over to...
He worked with Triple H on the first one.
But what did they go over? Saddam Hussein's territory over there, where they actually had to wear bulletproof vests.
Oh, you're talking about
bombs.
tribute to the troops.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Well,
see
these
where
are
I'm
two
going with that?
two
No,
different
but you see where I'm
scenarios.
going with that?
Yes.
As far as safety goes. As far as safety goes. And I don't disagree. They're so well protected when they're going over there. I mean, you're bodyguarded. There's just no question about that. But I still think, Daniel Bryan. Don't tell me Daniel can't use the money. And I'm not saying and I'm not being funny. I'm just trying to say that he has earned everything he's got.
Right.
I did a lot of stuff with Daniel, as you did.
We had him here in the MWF.
Nothing but respect for Daniel Bryan. But here's a young man who said no. Here's another young man, John Cena Jr., who said no. And there
I don't think he needs the cash anymore, though.
You know what? I don't know anything about my son's personal finances. I don't get involved in his personal business.
Well, you know what those Hollywood movies pay, baby.
I don't. I really don't.
They pay big money.
Well, I really don't know that because I've seen people be in Hollywood movies that get $10,000. I've seen people who get $5 million. I see The Rock get $22 million. I have no idea.
Well, I've heard there's a rumor online that when they make the third, I can't even think of the name of the movie now that he was in with Mark Wahlberg and was it Daddy's Home? When they make Daddy's Home 3, they're going to make you the third rival grandfather with John Lithgow and Mel Gibson. Is that true?
I can't wait. Yes, it is true.
It
is true.
Daddy's
that
Home
was
3.
a rumor. That was a rumor, but now I'm going to support it as fact.
Would you like to get involved in some of John's movies if the opportunity came to be?
I would, just like I
know you were involved with theater when you were younger. Is that true?
I won Best Actor in Massachusetts.
Did you?
I wrote several shows. Yep.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Directed a lot of plays. I had a lot of fun. I wish I could find a couple of groups to get involved with now. But anyway, back to me. I would love, like I enjoyed getting involved with WWE. As much as that kick screwed me up, I enjoyed my tenure with WWE. I would love to get involved with a couple of John's movies. Whether that's ever going to happen or not, I really don't know. But
I think you'd be great for that Daddy's Home 3. I really do. And I mean that, as opposed to, sometimes we joke and banter and back and forth. But that's one I would actually really enjoy that. Maybe because I know your personality.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
He's got Suicide Squad to worry about now, so.
That's going to be a big one, too. I'm telling you. What does it think that what came from your loins has done, and not to take anything away from any of your other kids.
5 sons, they're all great.
You don't have just one, you have 5.
They're all superstars.
And they've all contributed to the world great ways in different ways.
Yeah.
But, obviously John is the one that you probably get asked about 90% of the time because he's
out there.
The celebrity of the family, other than you. Do you ever sit back sometimes when you're at home at night, relaxing, having a little quiet time, think to myself, my gosh, this little boy that I raised from when he was a little baby came into this world, took the world of professional wrestling by storm. Now he's going into Hollywood. He's on Nickelodeon. He's in movies. He's doing game shows. He's on the Today Show. That's your little baby boy. How does it make you feel when sometimes maybe if you take a quiet moment and just look at the big picture of everything he's done since he left the Fab old home in Newburyport, went out to Springfield to go to college, then out to Cali to bodybuild, then got into wrestling. It's an amazing journey.
It is an amazing journey, and I guess he tells the story, and I think he tells the story that the reason he went to California is he had enough of me with the divorce. And
all right. So I'll zip my lip on that.
That was, he had enough of me. Yep, and I remember giving him a silver dollar. I don't know if he still has it. And he said to me, what do you give me this for? I said, you'll need it to call me to come back home because you're not going to make it. And that's the God's truth.
Really?
Look, tears were in my eyes. I love my sons. I would die for my sons.
You didn't want him to go.
It's not that I didn't want my son to go.
Well, you didn't think it would be
it's
successful?
Now I see that growing up, and you know, I don't know if you ever had something you love leave. One of my former spouse divorced me. I lost my best friend. I was heartbroken. Nobody knows the pain I went through, and I don't think she did, or the partner she's with now. But that was a very difficult situation. So he went out, he slept in a Jeep. He worked 80 hours a week at Gold's Gym. He ate power bars, showered there, and then he made it, you know, they saw him in a gym, and that's the story goes from there. But I have 5 boys, 5 wonderful sons, Stephen, John, Dan, Matt, and Sean. Every one of them is a success. Am I asked more about John than everyone else? Well, of course, because he's a front runner out there. He's done a great job with Make-A-Wish.
Absolutely. He's granted more wishes than any celebrity of any kind.
Just bought his second book,
about him?
Elbow Grease versus Mozilla.
I was hoping they were going to come in time for today, but we should have some for the set.
I was going to bring one in.
Oh, really?
And,
well, we were thinking
it's a great
alike
read.
then. Yeah.
I'd love to sit and read it for the kids. If you ever have a group of kids, I'll come down and do it. But that book is that story, by the way. I don't know if you understand it or not, but Elbow Grease is John. The other 4 trucks are his brothers.
Oh, really? Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Yes.
That's good little backstory.
And I can identify each one of those kids with the trucks that they are. And the story behind, and I'm not going to give Motozilla away, but it has a twofold story, not only about how you overcome challenges, not necessarily by yourself, but together, but also it's a little bit about bullying. Because Motozilla is kind of the big guy. He's the one that takes on all the trucks and destroys them, pushes his way through. And so the key is, who's going to be victorious here? I'm not going to give you the end. Do you think it's going to be the 5 kids or the 5 trucks or Motozilla? I got to tell you, we'll see. But I was intrigued by the first book, intrigued by the second. I really hope he does a third. But there again, that's a contribution that I think is wonderful. The other contribution is going to do up to $1 million. For that charity, up to $1 million. Hey, kid, I'm just going to throw a plug out. I got a mortgage. Anyway.
Well, you know, it's amazing. And isn't it kind of, again, you look at the big picture, you look at your grandkids. They grow up, oh, Uncle John, he's in movies,
right.
He's on TV, he's one of the elite WWE superstars of all time. And they just look at it like, you know, the sky is blue, like it's just normal. It'll be interesting to see as they get older, if they realize just how kind of cool it is to see everything that Uncle John has done throughout the globe, you know.
He's done an awful lot, and, you know, along with other individuals out there who have worked as hard, maybe even harder, to get where they are. But I can tell you this kid, I remember when he was born in the hospital, and I'll just give you the story behind that.
I would hope you'd remember that,
I did.
John.
I was there for delivery of all 5 of my sons.
Good.
John had the cord wrapped around his neck.
Oh, really?
7 times.
They were choking him out before he even came out.
Right. And then they said to me, what are you going to call this kid? And I said, John Felix Anthony Cena. And I remember the doctor and the nurses going, why would you do that? Call a kid that name. And I remember distinctly saying this. My ex-wife will throw it up to me once in a while. Do you remember what you said there? And I said, I absolutely do. And my answer was, because someday this kid's going to be famous. And
was there any particular reason for the Felix and the Anthony? Or no?
Yes. My father's name was Felix, and my grandfather's name was Anthony.
Oh, that's
and
a nice
if you know Italian heritage, you're supposed to name your firstborn son after your father. My father, God rest his soul, said to me, if you ever name a kid after me, I'll break your face. So there was never a Felix in the family. So I thought the best I could do was include it in his middle name.
He's the oldest?
No, John is number 2.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Steve is number 1, John's 2, Dan's 3,
Are they
Matt
all
is
Felixes?
4, and and Sean is number 5.
Well, you've got a great family, Johnny, and like I said, it's not.
How did we get into this?
I don't. We were talking about Saudi Arabia.
And I said
the
no.
Prince.
And then I said John wouldn't do it.
And now we're talking about your wife's womb, ex-wife's womb.
We don't want to get into that.
Well, literally at this point.
No, thank you.
Boy, that's what's so fun about these shows. We never know what direction we're going to go.
And we were talking about people who made money, and then we get into this and refusing to go to Saudi Arabia. Because I simply said, Daniel Bryan, who could use the money. We all could use the money. But there's a young man who made a decision based on what he believed. Cena did the same thing. I think there's a couple now that don't want to go over. So
Kevin Owens is another.
well, and you know what? God bless you, Kevin Owens. I have
And
a
you
great
know what?
respect for that kid.
I do respect them for it. That's a lot of money to turn down.
Well-
and you know what? You hate to say it, WWE is a much more progressive company than it used to be. But
Thank you.
There's a lot of residual heat that can come from those situations.
Well-
I know it hit RVD when he refused to go to the tribute to the troop shows.
I think there's a big difference. And I got to say this. When you refuse to go to tribute to the troops, there's only one reason RVD can do what he does. Because young men and women were out there putting their lives on the line so he could be able to be free, so he could smoke his joints, so he could get in the ring, and he could do what he wanted to. I'm very staunch about that. Listen, God bless America and God bless those young men and women
Absolutely.
who do what they do and where they are. It's only because of you that this man and I and others like us have a free country and can do and say what we do. No greater country in the world, thanks to our men and women of the armed forces. God bless.
All right, you heard it from the fabulous one, John Cena Sr. himself. We'll be back after this brief timeout. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Let us tell you how the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation can help raise cash for your nonprofit cause. Experience the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation live in your city, throughout New England, the tri-state area, down through the Carolinas, out to our friends in the Midwest and beyond.
If your nonprofit organization is looking for an interactive turnkey experience while putting the fun into fundraising, you've met the perfect tag team partner to work with every step of the way.
The MWF offers a variety of packages for groups of almost any size, from our live events at the Boston Garden, the Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex, and the legendary Suffolk Downs, to high school gyms and function halls. We've presented live events everywhere and anywhere.
Since 2001, the MWF's mission has been simple: keep the kids off the streets. Under the leadership of President David Reese, we bring the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow to your town. Not for a wrestling show, but an event that features action-packed in-ring wrestling, autograph, pose photo opportunities, Q&A sessions, and so much more. It's the best of sports and entertainment. The week of your event, we can add on to the endeavor with anti-bullying campaigns, library meet and greet reads, youth sport concussion seminars, and more.
Our live events are fit for fans of any age from 5 to 95. This fall is part of our new Kids Club program. We offer live event experiences exclusively for the youngest of fans. On the flip side, we can produce a tailor-made event for fans of an older demographic as well. We work with you every step of the way to get the word out to fans near and far on our local television offerings and to over 50,000 fans and growing on our social media platforms.
Your success is our success. If your group has had enough of candy bar and wrapping paper sales and has the energy to team with our passionate fan base, bringing the NWF experience to your community is the answer to put smiles on faces while raising cash for your cause.
Contact us today to get the ball rolling for your custom-made event that you'll want to bring back year after year to your community.
Don't just take it from us. Here are the folks we've teamed up with in the past.
All right, wrestling fans, very interesting topics that came up on today's Wrestling Insiders. We're hoping Tony is going to be back next week, but I know, Johnny, we're going to do a few more episodes for the fans to enjoy over the next few weeks. We're going to have fun. I thought today was fun.
I've had nothing but fun. You know, we've been up and down.
It's amazing how much, when we get involved in the world of the MWF, I want to strangle you. But when we sit down as two human beings and talk, wrestling, or even talk about life sometimes, we have some fun. I don't understand how that happens.
But you know what? Take what we do now and apply it towards the MWF.
Well,
but you know what? If you can do that, you'll look through it in a different way. I already see it in a different light. You just don't want to see it in that light. And I think the last conversation we had about going over to Saudi Arabia, you said I have WWE stock. It's good for me. You're chewing me out because I did what was best for business. What's best for you for business?
Well,
because you're going to get a return on your
families, Johnny.
What's that?
You destroyed families.
I destroyed nobody.
Yeah, with your shenanigans with Linda Moratti. I don't forget about that either.
Linda Moratti. Now, there's another story for another time.
That's for sure.
All fake. That wasn't me. That was Von Johnson.
Please. All right, wrestling fans, the homecoming, the reunion is headed your way Saturday night, December the 28th. It's MWF Project X from our old home 2 blocks down the street, the historic Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. The superstars are going to be there. The world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Wow.
Johnny's nemesis, Cam Zagami of American Grit fame on Fox, is bringing in Vickie Guerrero. We're going to have WWE talent scout and Hall of Famer Gerald Brisco in the house, former hardcore champion. He even held the WWE 24/7 championship this summer at a kind of advanced stage.
I could probably win that.
You could probably have a little run with that. We have WWE Cruiserweight Classic Tournament winner TJP joining us in the squared circle. The Hoffer himself, Tony Atlas, will be there. The roster is growing. We're going to have a great time. And again, it caps off our 8th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do some goodwill for the community, for these kids, because you never know if we have a young one watching now, but we need to make sure that Santa Claus's GPS is updated so he finds every kid, every holiday. Because granted, it's not life or death, but the thought of a kid on Christmas morning with nothing under their tree, that pulls on the strings of my heart, Johnny, and it always has.
Well, you know, I know Santa Claus on a one-on-one basis.
You do?
I think that every time I speak with him, he always says the same thing, that to the good little boys and girls that come over to speak to him, he always says this very clearly, that you know, you probably don't get everything you want for Christmas. And the rationale for that is Santa takes a gift from all the good little boys and girls like you and gives it to those boys and girls who have no mothers and fathers. You don't really mind that, do you? And the answer is always the same. No, I don't. And because Santa will always bring you not necessarily what you want, but always what you need. And I think what I'm trying to say is that when you listen to Santa speak, he makes a lot of sense. So I know at the Hammond Castle, I'm going to give that a plug, December 13th.
Where is the Hammond Castle?
Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Okay. And what are you going to be?
Santa's going to be there.
Man
I'm going to be with the big man.
Right.
However, it's restricted to 80 kids, 80 kids who are in need only, and we have special gifts for all those kids. I'm honored to be part of that. I wish I could say it's open to everyone, but it's not. The mayor will be there. It'll be quite a festival.
Oh, wow.
But that's there again.
Is there a website that people can go to find out more?
I think it's hammondcastle.com.
Okay.
And I can only say this, that I made a personal contribution to get some gifts because Christmas isn't necessarily about the size of the gift. Christmas is about not how big or small, but where it comes from. And I think if more people did that and paid more attention, not to the people on the street with the signs, will work for food. I think they need to be licensed. They shouldn't be on the streets like that. But people who really come from here, yourself, myself, Cena, Brian, whoever, and just give that extra bit, and you can see where it's going. It's well worth it.
Well, it is going to be a great holiday season for us, week by week, as we get closer to that homecoming. And again, like some of the great charity endeavors that you're involved with. But the Paul Bearer Toy Drive, we were only able to do it 1 year before he passed away, which is kind of disappointing. But I look at the positive of it. At least he was with us when we started it up. So it's a great way to carry on the legacy of a great man.
Not gone, only changed.
The spirit is still with us.
Not gone, only changed.
When the lights tinker sometimes in here, I wonder if he's ribbing us. It happened a couple of times last time when Tony Atlas was here. But not to get somber, we have a lot of great things to look forward to here in the MWF. Tickets are on sale to Project X. The VIP package is going to be out of this world, Johnny. The VIPs, they get the front row seat. They get the group photo. The first time we've ever done this. All of the featured superstars are going to get together in a group, similar to what we did at Kowloon. I mean, you talk about status on social media. You and 6 or 7 people known from WWE all together in one photo.
Deborah McMichaels.
There's going to be the autograph photo Fanfest, and the VIPs, again, they get a bonus. We're going to do the in-ring talk show, not in this studio. We're going to do it in the ring,
Nice.
down at Memorial Hall with the top stars. We're going to have a great time.
Nice.
Then once all the sizzle wears down, baby, the bell is going to ring
On time.
on time. You know I'm staunch on that. And it's going to be a great night of Millennium Wrestling Federation action, a homecoming, a reunion for the holidays. You're not going to want to miss it. For the Ghost, that is very physical. I don't know. Maybe he was looking for Mrs. Claus's womb when Santa was up.
Who's that, Cam Zagami?
You're trying to say Cam has a womb?
There's a womb for him and there's no lock on the door.
For the back door. For John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, folks, yours be well.